together. Father, we thank you for the privilege that we have to live in this country. We thank you for the freedoms that we have. We don't take it for granted that we are able to gather here freely without persecution. And God, we're grateful for that. We praise you for that. We know your word tells us in Romans 13:1 that you have ordained governments. Everybody that's here, God, they are here because you have called them here. So God, as this meeting takes place, I pray for great wisdom. I pray for great discernment. And I pray for a group that would lead us into a light in a world that is getting darker and darker. We thank you for Jesus. We thank you for redemption. Guide this time. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, Alderman French. Alderman Anderson.
Here.
Alderman Bellamy.
Here.
Alderman Hobbs.
Here.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Here.
Alderman Parsley.
Here.
Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes from May the 7th?
Make a motion.
Do I hear a second on that?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. The motion is as stated. Any corrections or additions to the minutes? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. And Alderman Parsley.
Any correspondence? This time, it's open for citizens' comments, and according to the resolution, if it's not related to the agenda, then we ask that you just call it into the office or someone. But if your comments are not related to the agenda, we do have one public hearing for moving from a C5 to R3. So if you're going to make a comment on that, kind of hold it to that point. Any comments from the citizens?
Lady Baldwin, South Spring Street, Manchester. This is not on the agenda now.
Okay.
1 minute,
Okay.
just do,
Ma'am, if it's not on the agenda, you cannot speak.
How can we talk, it seems so long.
I would ask that you sit down. Any comments, any other comments from the citizens that's related to the agenda?
Your agenda.
Comments from the mayor, actual weapon? Okay.
Sarah Bradley, Kenwood Court. One of your items, can it be in, I think it's new business, it's not a resolution or an ordinance. It's the interim pay for Assistant Director of Water and Sewer, Kevin Rainey, who is acting director. I think he's done it twice now. And now, you know, I was sad to see Director Miller go. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate everyone who works for the city. But when I heard that Director Miller was leaving, my first question was, who's in charge? And thankfully, I realized, oh, it's Kevin, and it's okay. We're lucky to have him. We're lucky to keep him. But it made me think about some other departments. Some, I am sure, that whether it was a resignation, retirement, or an illness, surgery, whatever, I know there's someone within that department that can step up and handle everything that needs to get done. But we have other departments that are incredibly overworked, understaffed, and unfortunately don't have assistant directors. So since this has come up a few times of how do we handle this, how do we compensate them, I'd encourage the board to, instead of reacting every time, to develop a plan to proactively and
Thank you, Ms.
preemptively.
Bradley.
Yes, you're welcome, Mayor Howard.
Thank you. Any more comments from the citizens? Okay, we'll get into, my comment is welcome everybody, and, you know, we just I appreciate everybody turning out and showing up and just being part of this. Thank you. And I appreciate the directors who have had long days, and you're sitting through this, and we'll try to move along as swiftly as possible. Okay, we're getting into committees. Safety committee.
Police department's currently working on Bonnaroo operations coming up. Our next safety committee is Monday, June 10th.
Finance.
Finance Committee reviewed some remaining budget amendments, which you'll see this evening later on the agenda. We discussed also some 2024-25 budget requests from Parks and Rec and Police. We discussed increasing the purchase order threshold to $2,500, which the Finance Department is in favor of, and the committee gave its approval. The Finance Department brought forth some employee retention items for further discussion surrounding salaries, cost of living increases, and longevity pay. And we also discussed a couple of policy changes in payroll, moving from a quarter of an hour to a tenth of an hour for the hourly employees on the time card reporting. And also we discussed, and it was approved in committee, and in fact it's been implemented starting on Sunday with this last pay period, that starting with yourself, the other aldermen and the directors no longer belong into the system.
Street.
Our next street meeting is Thursday, June the 13th at 5:30.
Water and sewer.
Next Water and Sewer Commission meeting is this Thursday at 3 p.m.
Recreation.
Our next recreation meeting is Thursday, June 13th, 12 noon. And we have 2 things coming up that I'd like to mention. We have the Common John's 5K and Cornhole Tournament on Saturday, June 29th. We're trying to encourage people to sign up for that. And then, of course, July 4th, we'll have our fireworks. We'll have Bird in Las Vegas, the band, 79. And we'll have food trucks. I'm recruiting food trucks.
Tourism.
Our next meeting is next Monday, June 10th at 6 o'clock.
Planning and zoning.
Our next meeting is June 17th at 5:30 here in the boardroom. The agenda will be posted in the
Information systems.
Our next meeting is June 17th.
Historic zoning.
There were no COAs submitted for this month, so that meeting is going to cancel.
Getting into resolutions.
Resolution 8, a resolution to approve a bid in the amount of $43,287.20 for rental of an ice rink and other accessories from Artificial Ice Events, sponsored by Alderman Hobbs.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
No. Do I hear a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any, the motion is that state any comments on this?
So, yes, I'd like to make a couple comments, please. I think it's important that everybody understands that this is come about because of a grant that the Chamber and Tourism worked on. There's no taxpayer dollars involved. It's through the state, I believe that's right. We're going to do it for 22 days, I believe. Does that sound right? So we're right there. We'll get the schedule out to everybody. it was an opportunity. We talked about it last year, and this year it did come to fruition. And there again, I think the important thing is that there is no taxpayer dollar funding this. It is all through a grant from the state. Ladies, did I do okay, or any more comments?
You know, ladies, I had spoken with Becky too. She feels that time and year that she will be able to get the help with it because it's coming to the whole season. As well as people. Anybody else that could help out would be great.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're going to put it in front of it's going in the grass area in front of
By the amphitheater.
By the amphitheater, right? That's where we set up. I think they provide the skates and I believe lights. I believe all that is included in this project. So hopefully it'll overwhelm. We can continue to do it.
It's going to take a lot of volunteers and a lot of work, but they're getting out ahead of it this year. Appreciate you guys taking it on. Any more discussions on this?
Is this I know it's paid for by the grant, but can that money be used for anything other than this?
It has to be used for tourism, and that's part of what this is, right? It brings people to our community. I think, is it Matt Menville, or is that right, that has one,
And Murfreesboro.
and Murfreesboro? So it should be a pretty good draw, not just for the citizens, but for other areas to come to town.
I'm not opposed to it. That would seem like a lot of money if we could use it for repair somewhere that the rest of the district needs. But
No, it has to be used for very specific items.
And the other question I had, who handles the liability? That go all into the city liability insurance?
You know, Bob, I checked on that. Matter of fact, just, yeah. It had been listed, put down on our insurance. It's covered.
But we rent it, they set it up, and it's their responsibility. And do you have certain blocked out, so much time that they do that, and do they pay to do that? And
Well, I guess let's here to ask some of the questions that I know to answer. So they come in and they set up the entire ice rink, which includes the fencing around it and mats to transition between the ice and not the ice, and they provide all the rental equipment. So we will set hours, and we kind of have an operating plan of how many sessions we'll offer and what days we'll offer those sessions, and we will charge $10 per person for a 60-minute session. And that will more than cover any part-time staff that we use to operate it, because we will have people who do skate rentals, and then we'll have skate officials to monitor those ice skating, and then they'll come into the front desk to get their tickets to skate. But they come in and set everything up, and I believe there'll probably be a few maintenance things that our maintenance guys will have to be shown just to keep it, because it's a synthetic ice rink, it's not actually ice.
Will one of their personnel be on site while we have it rented in case something breaks, or?
No, they come and set it up, and part of the package is their hotel stay to come and set it all up, and then they will leave and come back and take it down. But they will show us what we need to know.
If it breaks midway through?
I'm not positive of the answer, but I'm sure we'd call them and say, we're renting this is your item, we need somebody to come fix it, would be how I feel it probably.
Somebody to take care of it.
Well, we'll do the day-to-day, but if there's a major issue, we will have to call the ice rink company and let them know that their product has an issue. It's not going to have issues.
And extend the days that we're down.
That I don't know. I don't know how that's outlined in the contract. I don't want to say absolutely.
You can argue that, though.
Well, I do know with our date, our timeline is 12/2 through 12/22, and part of that's because we want them to come get the ice skating rink because we're shut down for a few days for Christmas break, and we didn't want it sitting out there and nobody's on property. So I don't know that we would extend it, but I'm sure, I don't know if we would have to negotiate anything.
Well, I just need to pay that much, for the tourism, pay that much money and it break down, we couldn't use it for several.
Correct.
Several days. Okay.
Well, once it's shut down, you'll have to have, you probably have talked about security in case somebody.
Correct, and well, with our security cameras and stuff that we have there now too, hopefully a few more, and that'll be determined.
Sounds exciting. Yes. Any more comments?
I have a comment. I'd like to waive the $10 fee. Once, let's just do something that would be nice for the citizens of Manchester to come to do.
Are you making that in a motion?
I'd be glad to, yes, ma'am.
It's been noted
The motion on the floor is to approve
that
That's
the
right.
bid. And then if you want to make a separate motion for what they're charging, of course, obviously, you can do that.
when that motion stand on top of it, and that motion, his motion be first.
I don't think that's an amendment to the motion that's on the table. This is about
All right.
approving the bid. You can run the other thing through the committee and get approval if you want to do that. I mean, it's not fair to the bid and the bidder to put that with the.
So we'll take that in front of finance.
Take that committee.
Tourism, and because we're gonna need to understand from Greg, sir, what that cost for the employees are. Maybe we could reduce it and just try to cover that, but yeah, we can bring it back.
You go, excuse me, you gonna open up, waive the fee for everybody, the ones that come from other counties and so forth?
I would hope that we decide to waive the fee for everybody that wants to use the ice rink that we have rented. Because it's just simple. Every now and then you ought to do something good for the people of Manchester.
I agree.
And if it happens to cost you a little money because the people of back then will come, then so be it. I'm good with that. Let's all be happy. It's Christmas time.
We'll take it from the committee, and I know there's lots of needs over there, and it sounds like we're being a cheapskate by charging, but anyway, we'll take it from the committee, and right now the motion has been made to approve this $43,287.20 for rental of ice rink. And with that, no more discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Ah.
Alderman Parsley.
Aye.
Mayor, the resolution passes 5-0.
Thank you. Okay, getting into ordinances, the A and B, I need a motion to, do I have a second to postpone this motion? Since, okay, it's been moved and second that we will drop A and B because we did not have time to get by the time we made the motion, approved the first ordinance, we did not have enough time because of the way it fell to get this in the paper in the allotted time, so the motion has been made and seconded that we will drop A and B.
So do we need to make a motion to put it on next month's agenda?
Yes, sir.
Make that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we drop A and B and move it to the next meeting, which is 7/2. Any comments?
I don't want everybody to know I didn't cancel it.
And it just felt, it was the last meeting, it just felt that we didn't have that 30 days. Okay, if not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
Oh, aye.
Alderman Parsley.
Aye.
Okay.
Passes 5-0.
Ordinance number C, a second reading of an ordinance rezoning property owned by Ronnie Randall on Belmont Drive from C5 to R3, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick. This is a public hearing.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the motion that's out there for it to be moved from a C5 to a R3. This is a public hearing. Brittany, before we open up to the public, it was approved by the Planning Commission.
Yes, ma'am, it's sent with a positive recommendation from the Planning Commission. The rezoning request meets the current land use plan.
Brittany, am I correct when I say that using C5 hospital roof on this property?
That was prior to my time, but I do believe that is
I
correct.
think that's a reason it was zoned.
Yes, sir.
Any public comments on this? Any more board comments? If not, call roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
No.
Alderman Bellamy. No. Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick.
No.
Alderman Parsley.
Motion failed. Okay, moving on to the next one.
Ordinance D, second reading of an ordinance to amend Manchester Municipal Code 18-201 relative to non-payment of bills, sponsored by Vice Mayor Messick.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. The motion is as stated. Any comments from the board?
This is water department. All right, we're talking about water department. Not just any unpaid bills. Water department.
Yeah, the ordinance, that's what I'm looking for now, so that you can, so I can refer you to it. If you might recall, we extended the time for non-payment of bills, but after a while that seemed to be a non-productive way, so that's tightened it back up to a certain amount of days. Let's see, here it is right here. So we had moved it to 45 days, and now we're moving it back to 25 days after the due date before someone's water can be cut off for non-payment.
What was happening on this is we were given, actually there was a bill sent out after the initial bill was sent out. You've got 10 days, and then there was a red card that went out, and if it wasn't paid, it was supposed to be cut off. And it was suggested that we change that to add 20 more days, but when we did that, they were getting two bills before they even got, it was just more confusing, and that's the reason we're changing it back to the way it's been all along. You have the bill sent out, you've got 10 days, you get a warning, and then you have 15 more days, and supposedly it's supposed to be cut off at the time. Any more comments from the board?
What are we doing to let people know about this change? Are we anticipating a lot of cutoffs because people have gotten used to having a longer time? Do we have any messaging and press release, or I don't know, sending anything out to let people know?
That's a good point that we need to make customers aware of. That we're changing it back.
It's only been this way for, approximately 6 months, I believe. So I don't know, of course, Director Perry can answer that question better than me, but I don't know that there's that many people that we deal with regardless, right, that have that issue.
Usually, the ones that don't go ahead are always like, in our history of having a bill, usually it's the same. In other towns, not necessarily just the same people that have the
notices will have the amount of days they have to pay it, correct? And it'll say it'll be cut off if it's not paid by a certain date.
More comments from the board?
When is this change effective? When is the change effective if we vote for this? It becomes effective, like new policy when?
As soon as it's passed. If it doesn't state an effective time, it becomes effective as soon as it's passed. And there's no effective date.
The way it was supposed to be working is you get your bill, and then it's, you receive a bill, and then you got an extended 15 days, and then the 20 days was supposed to be, you know, if you see someone that maybe there's a reason, you had 20 days, we could call and make sure that they did get that there was a reason. So it really didn't, all it did was people were getting two bills before they even got the cutoff, and I don't think we were cutting off any more than we were before, but it was a mass confusion. So it really
They don't send out the red cards anymore, do they?
That was before my time, I haven't seen it. Where I've been in the past, we've always sent out a notice right before you get the cutoff. I think you have, there was 2 days to respond, late, and if they don't send out the report, we can find something that we implement to where customers notified you have X amount of days to pay this or to cut off, and go from there.
I think it'd be a good idea to send them something to let them know that we picked the pitcher of water off.
I thought that the red card was still in there because it was like, the red card was sometimes getting lost in the mail. So we gave them 20 days, and still, it didn't correct the problem, it just made it more confusing. It was 20 days that we were supposed to call them, but it didn't correct anything.
And I think they did
What it
move
made,
the
what it
red
made on
card.
here is it made it black.
Yes, yes.
Until it was a billing cycle. Giving them addition.
And the people who got their bill and they got their red card or that 20 days did not change anything except make it more confusing.
I think a radio station and their newspaper, put something in there, let them know in the public service announcements or something.
Alderman Anderson's comment, I mean, I do understand that when we vote on it tonight, it goes into effect. Does that mean it starts its billing cycle? Or, I mean, what if you're in limbo right now? What happens?
I believe it is a sort of next billing cycle instead of getting stuff with people at a time. You know, get the ducks in a row or know that it's coming instead of it just happening. It's more.
Because I mean, you're going to have some people that's already passed this time from today, right? And so you're going to have to go to the next billing cycle to make this effective. Does that make sense?
And as far as I know, that the public really didn't know that there were 20 days until it was cut off. It was just, they got the bill, and I know there was discussion about that they got the red card that says, you know, this is your final warning, you've got 15 days to pay, but the general public did not know about the 20 days. They were paying their bills the 25 days that we've had all along. So it's not like we have to go and do a public announcement. But we were supposed to be calling if somebody was late, that you know they've been consistent. Somebody consistent that always paid their bills. So we just extended that so that the water billing could give phone calls before they cut off. They had 20 extra days, but it was adding somebody that was kind of pushing it forward. They were just, they kept on riding it until they got two bills, and it's more confusing.
say we'll let the water director notify him the best way he thinks he needs to. Let him take care of it, it's his department, and we just approve moving it back, and then he can figure out whether he needs to notify him or not.
It's kind of a double-edged sword. People know if they pay the water bill or not. But, I mean, the notice is generous. So, I believe people should be noticed that we're notified that they're cut off. Under circumstances, kids or somebody sick, I think that would be a fair thing to do, rather than notice. In case somebody needs to make a plan, knowing that they can't pay their bill. Same thing.
What kind of person?
Yes. Okay, we're voting to go back to the 10 days, the 25 days total until the water bill's cut off. And that, may I say that we don't just cut, even with that, we have never just cut. We've made mistakes, but. Call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Mayor, the motion passes.
The last ordinance, Ordinance E. First reading of an ordinance amending the budget ordinance for fiscal year 2023-2024. Ordinance number 1692, sponsored by Alderman Hobbs.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to pass the budget ordinance for fiscal, amending the budget that we've all had before us. Any comments or questions on this?
Where is the $2 million for water and sewer coming from?
We got
Coming out of the water and sewer budget?
It's going to have to come out of reserves.
Out of the water and sewer reserve? Not the general fund, not the city, but the water and sewer.
Yes.
Any comments?
What is that 2 million for?
That would be a good question. I don't know if anybody here knows. You know him?
It's a combination of items. There was, what's complicating it is when you look at water and sewer budget, it shows additional cash in there, but the problem is that about $6.9 million of the cash that you're seeing is already committed money to like ARPA projects and things like this. It's restricted or committed dollars. So they've run into a shortfall on some of their operational expenses to the tune of about, best we can estimate through the end of the year, about $900,000. And then there was approximately 1.1 million shortfall on the official name, pardon me, is before I was here, but it's the Highway 55 mainline relocation. From Morris Brothers and one other, second name escapes me. And that's kind of where we're running into the operational shortfall, so we're just going to pull from cash.
Because I think at the last water and sewer meeting, right, that's where the conversation started about the Norris Road project. It was put in at 1.6 or something, but the actual whole dollar amount was 2 point something, right? 2.4, so I think it was just put in the budget on last year.
And that bid had already gone out and it was set at, it's not like it's been, that we bid it out and it's been overrun. It just was put in wrong, so the budget was turned in.
But we won't ever see this kind of shortfall. Should not. Right? Yeah. $2 million shortfall. Yeah. I don't know.
And, you know, hopefully that when the budget is put in, it won't be like, it'll be real numbers and it won't be some, like a bid that we know at that time is a certain amount, that it was short, went in as, it would have probably gone 3 years ago, but when it finally went out for bid, so hopefully we'll have to do this again.
Hey, I want y'all to know that I'm not fussing on Jim. Okay, he's new, so and Andy, you're new too. So I'm not fussing on either one of y'all. I'm just saying that in the future, we got to better handle
I can say that I've already had more than a few conversations with the water and sewer director, and both him and I took a pretty good look at it, and we've agreed that some of the improved reporting that we discussed in Finance Committee, he and I are going to have quarterly sit-downs throughout the year, throughout the fiscal year, and to monitor water and sewer, which it's a complex budget. There's a lot going on, and anyway, it's just going to require. I can't speak for my predecessors. I can only speak for myself and the conversation I had with Jeff. Going forward, it requires a lot of coordination between the two departments to keep it on track. So we have a plan.
Excuse me, and I'm not trying to lay it either way or nothing like that up there. But the question I have, you was talking about 6.9 million in reserve funds for the water department. So this 2.4 million, this 2 million that's coming out, does that mean that we have 4.9 now?
Oh,
That's funds that you can't spend.
you can't, they have
Set back.
their total fund balance.
Right.
$10 million or $9 million.
Yeah,
This is money that was in like their general fund, that 6.9.
So it wasn't removed from the reserve.
Yeah, it'll be removed from their reserve. That 6.9 is part of the total reserve number, but it's got tags on it that you can't touch it except for certain things. So this has got to come out of the other part of their fund balance. It's like our general fund, we have some restricted funds in it too.
Any more comments from the board? If not, call roll, please.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy, Alderman Hobbs,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Messick, Alderman Parsley,
Uh,
and the motion passes 5-0.
Any old business? No. Moving into new business, we have the Water and Sewer Commission recommended interim pay for Kevin Rainey and Kevin, I had a question that where's Kevin? Is he in the house? He's not. There was a question after Dana left. I don't recall appointing him as interim director. We just kind of held it in the road. But he was asked to be the interim director when Phil left. But we had with Dana and Adam Floyd, it was like if we appoint an interim director, they are to be paid what the director made. But
I think we passed that after that period of time here in the board meeting. That was before we had passed that here to say that if we have somebody leave, that we will move their pay up to the director pay. So I wouldn't think that would be part of it, the agreement. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it, I'm just saying that was how the events worked.
So, Mark, when Dana left, do you recall? I know that when Phil came in, we were looking. He got to appoint his assistant director, and Kevin Condor didn't want to step into it, but I don't recall anything on paper that he was interim after Dana left. Do you?
I don't think so.
We just kind of held it together. Everybody just held it together that, but when Phil left, I do know that, and there's supposed to be a paper trail that I should have done a paper trail on it, but I did ask Kevin to step into interim director. But when he was appointed as assistant director, he went to, on my signed off, he went from project manager to assistant director. So I just want to make sure that it was between Phil and when Jeff took over. And then he had he could have chosen anybody to be assistant director. So
I'm just gonna make one statement. Splitting hairs, we appointed Kevin, technically, he acted as director in every aspect. If we're going to change him, then we're not going to make him that. That's all it is.
So you're saying when Dana left, will be,
And I think that's the only way to be fair about it.
And you did do the job.
He did the job.
I only requested less than 30 days from October 21st to November 16th, and then it looks like March 27th through March 31st, right?
Right. Less than one.
Less than total. I agree with you.
from the time Dana left, and there was more than 30 days in there. But I'm just saying, I know Kevin Condor threw in, I know that all of us threw in.
Everybody did their job.
Yes. I'm not being cheap. I have called everyone, was he made interim? But we all pulled together and made it happen between Dana. So you're saying between Dana and Phil?
I'm saying that he deserved to be paid for the job. He was director, what we call the director.
Interim, after Dana left.
Is the request accurate?
How much money we talking about? Ballpark?
I don't have, a clue. The director making 80,000, the director making 55, 60 a year, so probably $1,000 a month, difference, 1,000, 1,500.
But, I'm not being, I honor Kevin, and I'm not being cheap, but as a steward of the money, if I know that Kevin Condra, we all pulled together during that. And if he wasn't appointed interim, but he was appointed interim, but by the time that Phil left and Jeff took over. So, just make it clear what we're voting on.
Why isn't there a document in here that's got more information about this, like the dates and the amount of money we're talking about? Because I agree with Mark, I think he deserves it. I just would like to look at something.
I can get that.
Okay, does this require 2 readings? Like if we vote for this next time, you can have that for us before next time? Just one?
But I can tell you that, I admit, I dropped the ball on this last time that I asked Kevin Ray to be the interim. And isn't there some documentation I'm supposed to do with that?
I don't know that there's any requirement for documentation, but it's always a best practice to document your administrative actions.
And when Phil came in, he was looking for interim, he was looking for an assistant. And usually if there's an interim, pretty much moves into the assistant director if the new director approves that. And I'm just saying that I know that we pay everybody that was over there that held it in the road until we moved from Dana. And moved into, when Phil took over?
We're talking about approximately 2 years since the
Well, it's in the, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Alderman Parsley. The document I was looking for is in the updated thing. So yeah, I'm fine voting on this.
And you know, I made sure that Dana was paid as the interim director. But I can't imagine if I had appointed him as interim, we paid Dana as the mayor, being fair to everybody, that I would have left Kevin out.
According to the documents in here, they're requesting 44 working days. And the pay difference is about $10.43. I mean, you're talking $3,600.
But as far as what he's got written on there, it's not, those are not correct days. That he's got like 5 days between, if I'm correct, if I did that, he's got like 5 days between, on that sheet of paper. There was a bigger gap, more days between Phil and Jeff.
I'm gonna make a motion that we pay Kevin.
I'll
for
second.
time. Did I get a second?
I did.
Okay, are we talking about between,
Both times.
do I hear a second on that?
I did.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that Kevin gets paid interim pay between Dana and Phil. And between Phil and Jeff. That's what we're voting on. Okay. Any comments?
Let's go.
Okay, let's go. Call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. And passes 5-0.
Okay, we have in your package a job description for summer day count assistant. Do I hear a motion to approve this job description?
Motion approved.
Do I hear a second? Any comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley.
Okay, in your package, you have a job description for the wellness attendant. Do I hear a motion to approve the job description?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? It's been moved and seconded that we approve this job description. Any comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
Alderman Bellamy. Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley. Mayor passes 5-0.
Okay, any comments from the board? Julie? Any comments?
Oh, okay. Yes, our local Hardee's is doing their Stars for Heroes campaign again to benefit local veterans and their family. And last year, they were #1 in the region, and they raised over $12,000. And this goes until July 4th. And if you want to help support what they're doing, you can go to Hardee's, you can purchase a star for $1. You can give them a monetary donation, or a business can also donate items or services to their auction that'll be held on June 29th.
That's a good little option.
I think we're doing very well with our 2 new department heads. I think they're working hard and doing a good job and building the team, and they've got out some infighting, I think, some of the departments. I think they're doing a good job. We backing up. Yeah.
Mark?
Hey, I want to tell you, I go back to my pet peeve just a little bit. You know, for a long time, when we came to give the reports about what the departments had done, everybody had a little something to say. And instead of the next meeting. If you're gonna bring the next meeting, that's all you got, we can look that up on calendar. Anthony, okay, we report tonight. Y'all need to get Anthony to teach you how to report to what y'all have done. Just gonna say that.
Thank you. It was a good report. With that, I'd just like to say, appreciate everybody showing up. And we try to be as fair to everyone. And appreciate the board, appreciate all the directors. With that, do I have a motion? We do have a beer board afterwards. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I hear a second? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Hello, we've got a beer permit for Sleeping in Suites. This is, the location has been approved. This is simply ownership name change for Mr. Cadell out of Antioch, Tennessee. And you could pass the background. The background complies and the location complies.
Your second. It's been moved and seconded to approve. What's the name of the company again? And the person.
I'll say Mr. Cadell and not act as first name. Sleeping in Suites.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Alderman Anderson. Alderman Bellamy. Mayor Howard.
Yeah, aye.
Alderman Hobbs. Vice Mayor Messick. Alderman Parsley.
I hear a motion to adjourn. Second. I hear a second. Do I hear a second? That, we're adjourned.
I know we're going to, let's see,